So this video is going to be all the decks I bought in the year 2024. It's a little late. The reason I'm making it is because I was trying to select which deck I wanted to use for the month of February, and a deck came to mind. And this deck was one that I had purchased in 2024 and I have not used. Well, I used it maybe once or twice last year, but out of purposely using it to say that I used it in 2024. So then I started thinking, out of all the decks I bought in 2024, do I feel they have earned their place on my shelf, earned their place in my space? So I figured I would make a video to talk myself through this, and we like these videos. We like all tarot videos, so here we go. I thought I would go in order that they were purchased, because I keep track of it in my handy dandy little notebook, which has come in so handy. So for my monthly wrap up YouTube videos, I keep a little point form journal of the decks that I bought, any other tarot adjacent, witchy adjacent purchases I make, memories and experiences and all that fun jazz, so that when I go to make my monthly wrap up videos, I'm not racking my brain to think about, what did I buy this month? What did I do this month? What do I want to talk about? So that has come in very handy, and not just for tarot stuff, personal life stuff as well. So highly recommend implementing that practice if that's something that interests you. But here we go. I'll start with, it's a mishmash of tarot and oracle. We have 12 decks total, 6 tarot and 6 oracle. That was not on purpose, just kind of worked out that way. And I'll say what month I bought them in, and we'll talk about them, and if I think that they were a worthy purchase, if I maybe should have slept on these a little longer. First things first, in January, we bought the Seasons of the Witch Imbolc Oracle. I don't have all of these. My initial plan was to collect them all. Gotta catch them all. But just in seeing how often I use these versus don't use these being the more prominent one, I've decided to not get them all. I do use them seasonally, but my intent is always, I'm going to pull one every morning, and I always forget. And then it's like, okay, I'll pull one every night, and then I always forget. So they do get used. This one I purchased specifically because Imbolc is my birthday time, so Imbolc, my birthday happens during Imbolc. I was going to say the reverse of that, but it's the other way around. So my birthday happens during Imbolc. We've got the Aquarius card in here. We have the Amethyst card in here. So that's why I purchased this one, just because it fits with my birthday. It is out right now because we are in the month of January. Imbolc is starting. So it is out. I have not, maybe I've made one pull from it. Do I regret this purchase? No. I don't. Do I use this deck a lot? Also, no. But I don't regret this purchase. I like the ones that I have. I do not think I'll be purchasing the other ones. So that was a January purchase. No regrets, but it did make me realize I don't need the other ones. We don't need to catch them all in this case. That was the only deck I bought in January. February, we need to talk about it. February was a little bit of a heavy month. It's my birthday month, as I stated, so I did get a couple extra decks in the month of February. We have 3 for February. The first one being the Heavenly Bodies Astrology Oracle deck. This one was purchased because I wanted to learn more astrology in 2024. It was a goal of mine. I don't use this deck in terms of an oracle reading deck. I use this deck for studying, for learning astrology. So this one's in order. We're going to try and keep it that way because that's how I use it. Do I think I will use this deck for oracle readings? Yeah, probably at some point in the future. Right now, I'm sticking with the astrology purpose of this deck. I love the aesthetic of this one. It initially was not one that stood out to me. I did not like the aesthetic of it, but my aesthetic is changing. We have the right to do that, to change our aesthetic. What I really like about this deck is its uses. So I'm hoping I can quickly hop to an example. So it talks about the nodes of destiny and where your north and south node is and how to pull the cards to see your future or to analyze your past. Love that. There's also a moon one in here. It doesn't have both the new and full. It only has one. I think it only has the full moon. It's got spreads. It's a good one. I made a whole video on working with this deck. So have I done that recently? No. No, I have not. Do I think this deck was a waste? Also no. Really enjoy it. I think aesthetically it'll work fantastic with the Sistine Tarot, a few other decks as well. And of course, once I open it up and start working with it as an oracle deck, that opens up its possibilities as well. But it's really just to learn astrology. That's what its purpose was, and it has helped with that. So enjoy it. I enjoy this deck. Don't regret it. The book is fantastic. The ways you can work with it are fantastic. Not upset about it. The next deck that was purchased in the month of February is the Abaton Keys. Well, the Heavenly Bodies Astrology deck was also on sale, so that made it tempting. It was 22% off. Abaton Keys. I was influenced, 100% influenced to get this deck, but what helped me, what pushed me over the edge was this person is local to me, and I love supporting local. This is an interesting concept. The Abaton Keys, holding the keys to your dreams. I really like the concept of this deck, and I like the artwork. I like the collage situations we have going on here. Have I used it a lot? No, I have not. Ooh, I would like to remedy that. I do want to work more with this deck. I don't regret buying it, especially in the sense of supporting local. So absolutely don't regret buying it. She actually offered me to come pick it up at her house, but at the time that I purchased it, I'd had no time to do that. February is a busy month, so I had no time to go to her house to get it. Love it. Need to use it more. Would it be one that I would grab if the house was burning down? No. So definitely want to work more with this deck in 2025. The backs are not my favorite, but I don't really care. It doesn't bother me to have weird backs, different backs, or backs that are not necessarily favorable. It doesn't bother me. The tuck box though, oh, gets me every time. And the last deck purchased in February for my birthday. This is one that no regrets whatsoever. It is a favorite. It's the Outgrow Yourself Tarot and Oracle. I edged mine in Sharpie Black. This one surprised me. I thought I would use it more for the tarot side of things, the Thoth side of things, but I've actually found I enjoy it more as an oracle, and I love this deck. Absolutely love it. This is one that I would be very, very, very upset if the house burned down and I was not able to grab it. I did edit mine. I've talked about this before. Here we go. So for Strife, we've got some Sharpie 5 of Wands, 5W. So I did do that to make it easier for reading for tarot purposes. I didn't want it to be overly noticeable. I wanted it to be rather hidden. I think I accomplished that. This is a favorite. This is, yes. Again, surprised me because I enjoy using it more for the oracle messages, not so much the Thoth messages, the tarot messages. So that's February. March and April, nada. I did not make any purchases for tarot oracle in March or April. 2 whole months. May, on the other hand, another big month. So May was big because I went to visit my sister in the States. So I was able to order a couple of decks that had been on my wish list that I wouldn't normally have ordered because shipping was astronomical. One is new, so I didn't really have a lot of time to think about it. The other one I've wanted forever. So a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Let's talk about the ones I bought from home though. First, we have the Numinous Astro deck. This was another one that was, it's in order. This is another one that was along the lines of wanting to learn astrology. This one I like better for the keywords on the cards as opposed to the Heavenly Bodies astrology deck. I like these keywords and phrases better, which is why I bought it. Also, fan of the artwork. So this is one that I go through, and if it's Aquarius season, I pull the Aquarius card, read the keywords, and just trying to learn more, trying to make that information stick. So we've got the signs, and then you can see we switched to a different color for the houses. So again, the keywords for the houses, that was another great one because I can never remember which house is what. So we have the houses, then we've got Ascendant, Chiron, Jupiter. So we go into planets. Then we go into modalities. Is that what these are called? Can't remember. And is that where we end? Yes. So these are another good ones, but the keywords for these guys are super helpful because these go way over my head. Way over my head. So really like this deck for those. This one, again, is a reference. I'm like, if I need to remember what the heck's when a planet is square something, I pull this guy out. And okay, that makes sense to me. Trine, that makes sense to me. And the artwork is just beautiful. The book and box are that obnoxiously huge size. So the book, couldn't tell you where it is right now, is on my bookshelf somewhere, and the box is in my closet with all the other big, like Llewellyn style boxes. So we have that guy. It stays out of its box. It doesn't have its own box. It's kind of just sitting within the larger box. So it just stays in my nightstand like this. I do want to get a bag or something for it because I'm afraid it's already kind of started to bow slightly. Then the other one I bought before my trip was the Crystal Sound Healing Oracle. I've talked a lot about this guy. Love it. No regrets with this one. So we have QR codes on the backs of every card. When you pull that card, you scan the QR code and it gives you about a 40-second crystal sound healing tone. The messages on this one aren't my favorite. Easing grief, loss, and sadness. The crystals, I more so use this for the sound healing. If I'm being honest, that's what I really like about this deck. So the habit I got into with this deck was before bed, I would pull one of these and I would play the sound as I laid in bed with my eyes closed in the dark. I wish they were more than 40 seconds. That's my only real gripe about this deck. It did hit a bit of a snag. I made a Instagram reel about it. The QR code stopped working because it brings you to a SoundCloud link and it stopped working. So I believe they have fixed it, but I emailed them about it. Is it Hay House? Hay House? Who are you? I believe it's Hay House. Guys, am I missing it? Hay House. I emailed them and they just emailed me all of the links to the sounds. So I have it if it ever goes down again. If the same thing happens to you, I recommend you do the same, but I believe they have fixed it. So that's the habit I got into, is listening to that sound before bed. Again, would love it to be longer than 40 seconds, but it was a really lovely practice for myself and I really enjoyed it. Want to get back into doing that as well in 2025. So let's leave this one out. We'll put this one on the side of my bed that is not occupied. Definitely don't remember purchasing. I don't regret purchasing this deck. Great 2024 purchase. The ones that came to my sister's house and were waiting for me upon my arrival. We have Lord of the Rings Tarot. I have talked about this deck and shown it at length. This is a fantastic pop culture deck. There's a couple Lord of the Rings tarots out there. This one blows them out of the water, in my opinion. It is by Fikes Art. I am sad to say it's sold out at the moment on Etsy. That's where I bought this, was from Etsy. Will it be coming back in stock? I have no idea. It doesn't say to like put your name down for when it comes back in stock. So it's not looking good, but she did just have a sale in December. So she probably sold out from that sale and maybe she'll be getting it back. I'm assuming they. Great deck. I wanted this one for so long, but I refused to pay the shipping. Love Lord of the Rings, obviously. It's a go-to comfort movie right up there with Harry Potter. Lots of trilogies. Trilogies seem to be my comfort movies. This deck is so incredibly well done. And when the time came for me to go to the States, I knew if I'm going to order this deck, now is the time. And I bit the bullet and did it. And I'm so glad that I did. Haven't worked with it too much. It is probably more of a collector item for me, if I'm being honest. But no regrets. Absolutely no regrets for this deck. But I have worked with it. I just haven't worked with it enough to form an opinion like I did with the Game of Thrones tarot for the month of January. So maybe this one will have to get its own dedicated Lionhearts tarot challenge for me to figure it out. The other deck that was waiting for me upon my arrival is Tarot of Persephone's Garden. So this was new at the time. I went to my sister's. Oops, we have a stowaway hair that wants to remain. I thought about it for at least a few days. Good for me. And ultimately decided to bite the bullet. I love the backs. I worked with this in May or June. Not disappointed. Really liked it. I love these kinds of decks where they take artwork and put them to a tarot card. Love it. Especially this era of artwork. Obsessed. And going through a bit of a Greek mythology moment the last few years. So it works. Do not regret this one. I do regret that the other ones, she did a remake of this version, which is I think no longer available. Then there's Tarot of the Huntress, which is an Artemis style deck. I won't be getting those because shipping. So do I need to have them all? No, I am perfectly happy with just having this one. Worked with it a lot. I am going to anoint it with a pomegranate oil, which is quite sweet, which is why I haven't done it already, because I was a little hesitant about the sweetness of the oil and the vibe of the deck. But I do see Persephone. She's obviously a spring, fall kind of individual. That's when things are happening with her. So sweet, spring, I've kind of come to the conclusion that I'm okay with it. Not upset about this one. I remember working with it. I can't remember if I worked with it. It must have been the rest of May and then part of June. I wrote it in the journal, can't remember. And I was pleasantly surprised as well. Where are we? July. 2 decks in July. The Sistine Tarot. So the way I document my decks is I write them in my journal when I receive them, not in the month that I purchase them. So this was received in the month of June. I think I bought it in May, perhaps, maybe the end of May. Maybe I did buy it in June. 0 regrets with this one. My only regret is that I didn't buy more of them because I know there were some people that missed out, and I would love to just be like, here, you get a Sistine Tarot deck. You get a Sistine Tarot deck. So I wish I did that so that I could give them to some people that missed out, but I would have been broke. So love this deck. Oh, this is absolutely a top 10 for me. This is absolutely, if I could only grab one deck if the house was on fire, flooding, whatever the case. Let's change that to flooding. That seems less scary. If the house was flooding, this would be, if I could only grab one, dare I say it might be this one. anytime I'm working with a different deck for a different month, because that month gives me a certain vibe and I should be working with, I don't know, say a more Samhain / Halloween deck, and I put this one aside, it makes me sad. I miss it. I love it so, so, so much. So absolutely not upset about that purchase. The next one, however, is the deck I was considering using for the month of February, which sparked the whole idea for this video. Oh my god, this is... Okay, nudity warning. We have the Sexual Magic Tarot. I got the mini. It was on sale. That's why I bought it, because it was on sale. These mini decks hardly ever go on sale. I had a reason for buying this deck. I really did. Can I remember that reason? No, I can't. I am a single Pringle, and I have been for a very long time. And if everything goes well, I will be for a very long time. I love being single. Okay, I was going to zoom in because they're tiny, but because of the nature of the deck, we're actually not going to zoom in. Further away is probably better. I have no business owning this deck. No, that's not true. You shouldn't say that. Everyone has every business owning whatever they want to own. But for me, I'm not going to be using this for sexy time readings. I don't, again, single Pringle. I don't have sexy time. And it actually kind of feels weird, even if my friends, I was to be like, you want a relationship reading? Bam. It feels a little pervy to be like, let's read with this deck for you guys. They might look at me and think, what are you doing? Why do you have this? Why are you forcing me to look at this with you? So it's not a deck I'm going to read for other people. My only saving grace was that it was on sale. I think I used this deck once or twice in 2024, and it was again to say that I used it, to feel like I made the purchase worthy. I did think of using it. I was like, okay, if I'm going to use it, February is the month to use it because we've got Valentine's Day. That was my reasoning. But I have another deck that I love using for February so much more, and it won. So this, I don't know. This is definitely one I could have done without. On this list, we've come to the first, perhaps the only, not sure. We'll have to analyze the rest when they come up, but the first one that I really am like, meh, didn't need it. Doesn't really have a place in my practice. Maybe one day, maybe, you know, I will end up being in a relationship of some sort. I don't know. But again, hopefully I don't, because I love my life. So, there we have it. The deck that spawned this whole video. So that is June. July, we have one deck. The Craft and Decadence Oracle. This had been on my list for some time, and I got it. I bit the bullet, pulled the trigger because of the Sistine Tarot, because I thought it went so well with the Sistine Tarot. Let's look at those backs first. I edged mine. This lighting is not the greatest. I had to close my blinds because my sun catcher causes all kinds of problems, wreaks all kind of havoc. But I tried to kind of incorporate those colors, and it ended up being a little more wine colored than I like, but I don't hate it. It's just wasn't what I was going for. Anyway, this deck had been on my list for a while. The Noisy Museum by the same creator. Who is this? La Green Witch. Yeah. Make playing cards. That's where you can get this, but I am interested in the Noisy Museum Tarot as well. It's not something that has to happen urgently, so it's one that I'm sleeping on to make sure I really want it. A couple other decks on Make Playing Cards that, you know, it's one of those websites that you should order more to save on shipping. Love this deck. No regrets. The messages, the words, oh, they're so good. So, so, so good. I've talked about this deck. I bragged about it a lot in 2024 videos. So, zero regrets here. Hopefully one day that Noisy Museum will make it to the list. Or not. We'll see. But that was the only July purchase. And again, really happy with it. Now, as far as using it with the Sistine Tarot, this deck is quite a bit darker. The Sistine Tarot has softer, lighter colors in the majority of its cards. So Rose Bay, the same creator, has Lacrimosa Tarot that's out as of now, I believe, and it is also Make Playing Cards. It is a very dark deck. This would probably go better with Lacrimosa, but it still goes well with Sistine. I don't mind it. August, September, October, nothing. I made no purchases for 3 months. No tarot deck purchases for 3 months. So pat myself on the back. November. The Millennial Tarot. This is one that I saw when it was Kickstarter. Was it on Kickstarter first? Indiegogo, can't remember which one. And I didn't go for it because I wasn't sure how I felt about it. But also the AI art I didn't love. So let's just peruse the back of the box. A note on art creation. The tarot card images in this deck were developed in collaboration between artist and technology. They were created in part by generative AI, in part collaborative between artists and technology. So I was like, okay, it's not full AI. How much of it is artist? How much of it is AI? We don't know. This is a fun deck. I wanted to use this one with my sister when she was visiting, but we never got around to it. This is a fun one. I would love to do in-person readings with my girlfriends with this deck because it's so relatable. Now, my friends circle, they're older than I am, so some of them they might not find as relatable as I do. I'm kind of on the cusp of a millennial, but they work. You know what they're talking about. My friends would absolutely relate to House DJ. That's why I decided to pull the trigger. I almost said pull the bullet, combining two phrases there. Because it's relatable, because it is funny, it is well done as far as the connections they've made between millennialisms and the tarot. The book is well done. A couple cards I have some gripes with, but that typically happens anyway with any tarot deck. Not enough for me to say it's not for me. Enjoy this one. I did use it towards the end of 2024. Again, it was just purchased in November, so we haven't had too much time to play. But from what I've seen, I didn't mind it. This card came up for me at a very Seven of Wands moment in my life. So it kind of validated itself in that sense. Don't mind it whatsoever. There are some aspects of this deck that I wish they would have kept from the indie version. I wish they would have kept the image kind of blurred into this large border on the bottom. I wish they would have kept that. Now it's not a see-through border, it's just straight up color. So that it doesn't bother me, but if I had my choice of the two options, I would rather have it be blurred and kind of a little see-through so you can still kind of see the image through that large border on the bottom. Other than that, don't mind it. Cardstock, not my favorite. Let's try a wee shuffle. It's quite thick, and I have found it doesn't bounce back. It kind of holds shape a little. However, when I've tried to do this on camera, it makes a liar out of me. Not too bad. Oh, that was sloppy. A little bit of bowage, not a whole lot. I don't even know if it's enough for you to see on camera. So not fantastic. Does not bounce back. I don't know if that means it's coreless. I am not a cardstock person. I know nothing about cardstock. Typically, I don't care about cardstock. It's just what I've noted about this deck. So that was November's purchase, and that's it. That's number 12. So I didn't buy any decks in the month of December. Goals for 2025. For me, my limit is 1 deck a month, which would be 12. So that's a number I do not, I was going to say I'm comfortable with, but I think it's more so a number I do not want to exceed. I don't want to go over 12 decks in a year. If I buy less than 12 decks a year, that would be ideal. If I buy less than 6 decks in 2025, even better. My goal is to not buy a lot. So, but I just wanted to kind of in my head go through all the tarot decks I bought in 2024, and really only that one deck that sparked the video is the one that I'm like, nope, didn't need it. The rest, sure, there are some that I haven't used very often. There are some that I would leave behind in a flood. But I'm not super upset about buying them. I'm not even upset about the Sexual Magic Tarot. It's just, I didn't need it. And I can't remember why I bought it. And if I can't remember why I bought it, was the reason even that decent to begin with? So I'm glad I did this video because now I know it was just, you're the problem. Just you. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you when I see you.